So just a quick video on my updated beliefs on kind of how I see veganism now. So the only science I've seen that looked pretty credible so far is that 50% of the women in England are not processing vegetables for, I can't remember what the poison was that was coming from it. Then when I looked deep into the risks after watching nutritionfacts.org and other different vegan bullshit, when I looked into it, it was all rat studies or something completely unuseful for me. It was tested on either some population that it wouldn't make sense for me at all, or some small amount of people, maybe 8, or it was a study you did where you asked people how much food they ate in a year. And I started to say, really low level of evidence. So I just decided, what if I try exactly the opposite of Dr. Grieger says and all the other vegan guys, right? Well, you can see I have now started to lose. I'm sitting down. I'll stand up, but I'm standing in all my other ones. That's what my midsection looks like now. But so I've lost some weight, but this is the first time I don't feel like I'm on a diet. I might actually have a harder time going back to ever eating a vegetable again. I really should have done a whole bunch of blood tests before I started eating this kind of diet, because now I'm so heavily addicted. I mean, it's like a positive feedback loop. Not only do I feel good, hormones are good, I want to compete more, I want to get more done in my day, I have many more highs and less lows, even though I'm still fucking with this drug. Oh man, this one really hurts me, the caffeine. I don't need it, I'm already high enough energy. It doesn't help with my thinking, it's a habit. But I used to use it for pain a lot in college to get through. When I was at a D1 college, I tore the bottom of my foot in half and all kinds of things that you're able to push through. They're not, plantar fasciitis, partial tears of tendons, partial MCL tear. With caffeine, you can continue to play and you won't have any issue. No issue, but it helped a lot. Then I learned that 10% of people worldwide had some kind of deficiency where they weren't able to get enough of something. I'm not going to remember. I'm not going to look up everything. I remember there being other issues with not getting enough B1, retinol, and a whole bunch of other things too, which were more for hormone production. I forget, not arachophobic, something acid, stuff like that. You can only really get from meat. So when I looked up, I was like, let me stop believing what I've been told and look up how many people die from eating meat every year. And I kind of just saw, no, the people that die the most are the ones on the vegan diets. I was looking at a documentary in a Zimbabwe jail. They're feeding them just corn there. These people drop dead pretty much right away. Maybe a few months before they deteriorate to nothing. The other big thing, so I eat high fat, lots of meat. Not every meal is meat, but I would prefer to get about, right now, and this is always changing, that's why I don't like to put myself in a category, because I might be on something new next week. I might never have caffeine again or cream. So you can see it's giving me some problems. I'm burping over here. That's from the hyperacidity. Caffeine is a real motherfucker, man. It really hurts. And we think it's harmless. So plus then I looked at the Nina Teicholz. Everything she said made a lot more sense. It had a lot more evidence. And you could clearly see that all the vegan doctors, the main ones that I was seeing, Dr. McDougall and Furman, I think is it? Maybe I'm getting it wrong. It doesn't matter. Obviously, Nutrition Facts guy, Grieger. These guys all have huge conflicts of interest. And they can't find a single positive thing about meat. And I was just imagining, like, really, to them, it's impossible to come up with, like, in this Zimbabwe jail, I could imagine bringing a few chickens into the place and allowing 1 egg per day per prisoner would probably extend the life, keep the brain going healthy, give them the ability to have the acids that they need or the nutrients to be able to go through the day. But cornmeal is definitely not enough. Now I wonder if you just gave somebody eggs, could they live off of it? Probably. I tried just meat, cheese, And dairy, just different heavy creams and fermented dairy only felt great. And like I said, this is the other thing. It's like it doesn't feel hard to keep this weight off. I'm actually just I get excited now to shit on candy when I see candy or sodas or carbs because I have no interest in it. My brain says, "Dude, you used to like that stuff a lot." But it's just you like the hormones better. You like how you feel better. I'm not about being skinny. I would actually prefer to be large than to be skinny because I'm kind of a skinny guy. I'm 6'7". I'm kind of tall. So nobody when I'm wearing a shirt is scared of me. And that's been a downside for me. I don't know if I'm too pretty or too ugly, but motherfuckers want to hit me. I definitely have a face people want to beat. So I've tried veganism completely. It cost a lot of money for me because I had to try to be a complete vegan. I really wanted to get the good sources of things. It's very difficult in Finland. So I think it's a diet that's not, it's just not appropriate for everybody because you're then talking about them taking in huge amounts of pesticides as well. Problem is, it's not black and white. I've heard also that in the U.S. it's impossible to avoid the lectins in plants, which we're now finding out have huge health problems, right? Gluten is one, lectin. And so why is all the science about finding that plants cause cancer hidden in the meat studies? But anything that could prove meat was bad, it didn't end up being that way when you looked into the study yourself. There were huge study flaws with it, or it was done, like I said, with epidemiological studies, the asking quizzes, how many cans of peaches did you eat last year? It's a pretty hard way to guess, pretty inaccurate, and it took very short time. I mean, if you just go back in my videos a little bit, I'm not going to get fat again. So I have a feeling those might be the last times I'm ever over about 230 pounds, 220, something like that. But man, I feel great. Hormones good. Health is changing. Brain is more positive. I can take way more shit. I was a very happy guy anyway because my life is just, it's tits. I love it. But when you change also the hormones and the amount of nutrients you have, apparently these are really important for antidepressants. So if you don't have, you need the stuff in meat to be able to make even antidepressants work. I don't have those. I don't want them ever. I don't believe in them. But lots of people are taking them. I'm sad for almost every single one of them. My close family and friends, they're really suffering on them. And from what I understand, please go ahead and look up Daniel Mackler. It's going to take 6 months to 2 years to get off of them. And I don't know what kind of carbs didn't even take that long. And I've been addicted to carbs my whole life. I'm not carb free. I just eat lower carbs. I don't want to be a huge asshole and throw stuff off the table. I eat half a pizza maybe once a week or every other week. But I might just, like right now, I just had meat, cheese, one piece of melon, a little bit of fiber, a little bit of fruit. I don't really want the melon. Not necessary. I don't think there's much in it for me. Just a carb and a sugar, really. And fiber. Oh, the fiber thing is a complete delusion. I thought I was going to feel heavy with all this extra meat in my gut and all this stuff. No, none of it. It's clearing very well. I now can fast for long periods of time, so I can skip a meal completely. This is the best way for me to lose belly fat, is to just go ahead and skip eating when I'm not hungry. It's not a big deal. My body tells me when I'm hungry. Now, I will start to make sure, I'm going to really add on extra when I get to my super elite, like Jeff Cavalier size belly. When I get that down completely, then I'm a little more nervous about being so low on the carbs. So I'll eat more forest berries. I think that'll be about it. Only Finnish forest berries. That's all I'm going to eat. They're picked from the forest here. We don't use pesticides, and we have really clean forests. So, and it's free, or if you want to go get them yourself, or whatever. So, brilliant thing. I don't want to eat bananas. I'm trying to eat less avocados, even though I love them, but we're causing a lot of harm in South America. And then the other thing is, just to make sure you don't think I'm evil, but I come from I'm just kind of this week trying to deal with some other stuff in my head. We're concerned about dengue fever, Ebola, swine flu type stuff spreading. Do you know 42.5 million people starved to death? I think it was in 2012 in South America. Man, no wonder there's immigration crises and all kinds of things. But why would I care about 200 people getting sick from some tiny mosquito when there's just millions of people starving to death in the same local communities? Now, when they die, do they get counted as a starvation death? Or if they have a disease, if they've manifested a disease, some kind of sore on them, aren't they classified then as a tuberculosis death, a malaria death, an AIDS death? If you look super skinny, you look weak, don't they just, categorize you as that? I would assume so. You should do the studying for yourself. I mean, if anything, engage me in a video like this. I'll answer you. I'll tell you where I learned this stuff. And please, correct me. Make me get better at it. Because I would like to immediately change my viewpoint if I'm incorrect about the science on veganism. But I've seen nothing proving it's true, first off, and no athletes competing against me that are vegans. None. I don't understand this. We had one here, this guy who's the guy on my channel, his picture, Lauri Markkanen. I picked him. We're a huge fan of him because he's just a guy that wasn't really an exceptional athlete, but really just worked hard, and man, he can shoot 3-pointers. He did great in the league. But the only time I've ever heard anything stopping an athlete from playing, I think it was his second year, first year still, I can't remember. I've never heard of this in any sport. He had to take a leave of absence from the sport because his vegan diet had left him some nutritionally deficient. He's in the NBA. He must have had the best of the best Travis Barker restaurant type food all the time. How the hell could he fail at veganism? Plus, I think there's also a level of some kind of race we need to bring into this too. Not just race, but I think it's different by just different genetic types, right? Not just the races. So, don't we all process things differently? I process carbs terribly. If I go back on carbs, I feel shitty. I have heartburn, and I stay fat, and I stay weak. I've never had great cardio. I've never been a top athlete. But now things are starting to change. I'm starting to outperform guys that have beaten me for years. I have a feeling it's more from the weight loss, because getting to an elite body fat makes me move faster. So, yeah, and in my sport, I'm not really trying to get much bigger because I'm strong for my sport. And every time I add weight, it makes me less efficient at the movement and stuff I have to do. But trust me, I have to do a lot of walling up, guarding guys that are 300 pounds and, over 6'8", 7-footers. That's what I have to play against and try to take the contact and firm up and not get squashed by these guys. So I don't want to be little either. The last thing I'll say is I used food to just trust my doctor when my doctor told me I needed a surgery on my knee. And I said, isn't there some lifestyle approach or something? I'm very dedicated to this. I was a big nerd as a kid. I was the youngest kid to get into American University that I think. I don't know if that's true. I was like 10 or 11. But I got sidetracked by thinking about the age. Now I forgot where the hell I was going with that. I was either going to make a point about that I was smart, now I'm stupid. I didn't know shit then, even though I was intelligent. Now I know more. Yeah, whatever it is. Distrusting what I've been taught in school, what I've been taught as a personal trainer, what I've been taught from doctors about health. I mean, come on, these are the same people that said weed would kill you, weed would get you onto other things, while they promoted tobacco, antibacterial soap. Oh, and last thing, I'll make this, I'm going to go to a whole other video on another medicine after this, but can you please just show me the science where it's a double-blind, placebo-controlled study with a big group where vegetarians outperformed in something that's not a biomarker. You're telling me I should die now because I'm eating such high fat and so many calories that I should be having a heart attack any time now. Wouldn't I be diabetic also if I took the diabetic test, because my glucose levels would be crashing somewhere below or would be very high? I forget how it goes, what the test is for that, but they look at unhealthy people ranges to figure out if you're diabetic or not. So even though I'm at this body fat percentage, which is pretty low, I could still fail for being a diabetic on the test. I would never even, you think if I would take insulin injecting into me, I would inject sugar into me when I feel this good without sugar being eaten into my mouth? Insulin causes weight gain. No thank you. I was going to say something about the school thing. I don't know, when I went to the school, I got sidetracked by, that's what it was. I was going to talk about why the doctor, they were doing something with the diagnosis for my knee. They were telling me that I needed a surgery for my knee. Then I trusted myself to do my research a bit better. Why not? I'm not a stupid guy. That's why I made that point. And then I found out you lose a little bit of weight, change your lifestyle, there's a possibility. I said, that's enough for me, man. I'm hurt. I'm injured. I can't do anything. I'm in constant pain. I'll definitely work for this. I've worked for being an athlete, from being the biggest nerd on the planet to being an athlete that should never have made it. Nobody should look at me as an athlete. You shouldn't look at me as a standard for you. I don't have your body type. I'm not you. And I came from a completely different background. But we can learn some shit together. Distrust of orthodox science if they're not doing science. I feel so bad for all the religious kids I used to make fun of all the time, because I was like, I know science. Look, Time Magazine told me evolution. Jesus, even me saying something like that, Time Magazine in even evolution, I'm like, nah, man, I almost trust none of your science because it's been proven to be completely untrue. Time Magazine probably was anti-butter, and then I remember when they said, oh, butter's fine, no problem. What is still... Oh, fuck. I want to make this a 20-minute video now. They're promoting in Finland. I just looked at the food pyramid in Finland. Disgusting. There's no way this will lead to a... You're looking for a Western-style lifestyle. So they've sold out to Kellogg and the cereal brands because they believe that you should eat grains 6 to 11 times per day, oatmeal, whatever it is. I think that was the American amount. But they think that it's okay to eat those things all the time as staple foods. They suggested breads, low-fat meat, barely, only lean meat. Big health problems for that. I've heard about that, though, too. Fat-free or low-fat milk, huge issues with that in the brain. This is a processed food. This is not, well, they're all processed. All the milks are processed unless it's raw, but still, it's the most processed. They add the most sugar and remove the fat. And from my own research, cows are given low-fat dairy and fat-free to fatten up. It's the fastest way to make them put on weight. So when I've eaten at the schools here, it's been soy meat, corn, cabbage. There's no real salad. It'd be like a lettuce, maybe with like carrot sticks on it. And maybe you'd be really lucky if it's fish stick day. Now, fish stick day, fuck, it's like, tastes like 25% fish in there, and the rest is some potato or flour or something like that. They do say in Finland not to be eating flour, but it doesn't matter. They don't follow that in schools. It seems like they just pack that on as much as possible. And soy, GMO soy, that's really what should be served in school for kids. It's a bit concerning. I think you're going to follow the same pattern that we did in the US. Your boys are going to be more feminine. We're going to have lower levels of testosterone than ever. Probably shorter. Definitely less lean muscle mass on boys and girls. This is going to be bad for both, of course. It's not like just women aren't affected by this as well. But getting a female hormone diet is more of an effect on men, from what I understand. And plus, look at cultures that eat high soy. Can you see any of them really look that masculine? You know? Hey, I didn't before I had some beard and a tiny bit of muscle, so look, you know, I can't really be the stick for that either. But that's kind of my argument. You put a fucking wig on me as a kid, and I had man tits that were not muscle then. So Yeah, man. It's like you guys did that to me and just told me, oh, you just do this other stuff and get a job and you'll be great. But you killed me as a man. You made me a different man. You made me feel embarrassed for liking women, that that's a shameful thing. Oh, but trust me, it's so cool to like men. You get bonus fucking points, you like that shit. What? Why are we promoting one sexuality and the other one's disgusting? So, we're doing that a lot here. In Finland, they are definitely promoting they're pushing their boys to be gay as much as possible. And they just do it by weird reward systems, by rewarding the teachers and the advertisers and the newspapers to just make stories that are anti-hero. We don't want to hear any fireman hero, Simo Hauha type story. He's a Finnish sniper from the war. They don't want to hear anything like that. We'd like to talk about somebody that gave their lunch to somebody who looked different or something like that. And that's all good too. But think about what it's doing over time. Are you trying to buck break Finland? Finland was a country of strong people that fought for what they believed in. And today, I have a feeling I only see the media trying to wet blanket that. They don't want to pretend anything's wrong in Finland. There's nothing. If the train station burns, it was an electrical fire. Nobody burned it intentionally. We don't want to scare anybody. If certain races are banned from clubs because they're sexually molesting too many people, that I have never heard except from certain sources. Not going to be in the mainstream, right? So, and who knows which of those are true? I certainly think a lot of the anti-immigrant stuff is kind of crazy because you have a lot of immigrants who bring some stuff maybe like me. I'm only living in Finland for 5 years now. I may or may not stay. But I think I've tried to make myself a better man here, a healthier man, and I'm trying to promote health, not bodybuilding, not Instagram, not building your own image up, but just making you realize that through my mistakes, you can avoid those mistakes. I'm a citizen here, but I grew up in the US, so they don't consider me a local here at all. I might as well be black to Finnish people, is how towns have explained it when I've made it to teams. I have such a different culture. I've come from a beach city. I'm used to skateboarding, taking my shirt off everywhere to get some sun because I am ultra white. I think this light is like making me look more brown. And so that's not well accepted here. But they let me live here. I get along. I haven't been forced to learn the language. Everybody's been fascinated with the American culture. They dress like us. They act like us somewhat. Many of the young people try to achieve that type of thing. They follow our cultural stuff. It's very strange, but we're not resisting the wrong sciences, and you guys need to look into this stuff. And it's not me. Don't look into me. I'm not the harm. I've got 27 subscribers or something like that. I'm not allowed to become important because I think I'm doing wrong think. If somebody would explain to me what is the wrong opinion, well then show me how to do science differently. But until I see good science on veganism, you guys have been pushing it on kids with detrimental effects. And Jesus, just test it. Why do we have to make guinea pigs first? But we like to.